Welcome back to Rise and Grind. Today we are talking about the neuroscience behind manifestation. And if you are anything like me, when you first heard about manifestation, you thought this was sort of like this woo-woo astrological candles, burning sage type of situation. And while there is no hate to anyone who participates in any of that, manifestation is actually something that is completely backed by brain science. And today we are going to talk exactly about how you are going to use your brain to manifest anything you want. And I am going to give you some daily practices that you can put into motion right away to start to manifest the things that you want. So let's get into it. So look, we have all seen the very aesthetic manifestation content on social media, right? Whether you've seen it on Pinterest or TikTok, wherever. You hear someone with a very airy, floaty voice. They're whispering affirmations into their beautiful matcha latte in a fancy coffee shop. And that could be one idea of manifestation, yes. But I personally have never resonated with that. I'm way too spicy for that shit. And honestly, I needed more tangible evidence on why something like this was working. And listen, if you've been around here a while, you know that I used to teach energy work. This is no hate toward energy work at all. This is merely a complement and more of a foundation to that energy work to use manifestation as a tool in your life. And if you've ever been in the position where you're like, manifestation just doesn't work for me, or I'm trying to manifest this thing and it's just not working. I'm doing all the things. Why isn't it coming? I've been in that position before too. And the missing link, which is what we are talking about today, is your subconscious mind. You legitimately have to rewire your brain in order to manifest anything that you want, if you want it to stick, right? We can start to get close, or we might get small bits of something that we want to manifest. If you wanted to manifest $1 million, let's say, maybe you start to attract a bit more money here and there, but you never quite make it to that $1 million moment. The subconscious mind is the reason for that. So today's episode is all about how to manifest using your subconscious mind, what things you can actually do and put into practice immediately, and why this shit actually works. So if you are sort of a brain nerd, today's for you. But even if you're not and you're just frustrated because you feel like manifestation is not fucking working, you need to keep listening. So what is actually happening inside your brain when you are trying to manifest something? And when I say manifest something, just to be clear and so that we're all on the same page, is if this is your first time listening or this is your first introduction to manifestation, all I mean is you are trying to make something that you desire in your mind part of your physical reality. You can use the term goal setting. There are plenty of things that basically mean the same thing. We're going to use the word manifest here on this show. But essentially what I mean by that is a desire that you have in your mind, you want it to be part of your real life. So much of the teaching on manifestation out there is about relying on the universe and asking the universe for what you want. But the missing link there is your brain actually cannot allow you to see possibility if you don't believe that you can have the thing. So what I mean by that is, let's continue this sort of millionaire metaphor here. If you decide that you want to be a millionaire, you want to be that 7-figure queen, just wanting it isn't enough. You can say that you want something 100 bazillion times, and unless your subconscious mind actually sees it as a real possibility for you, which means you actually believe to the depth of your core that you can have or be that thing that you are trying to manifest, there is no way that you are going to be able to make it happen. And here's why. Here's the neuroscience behind why you have to actually believe that you can have it. Number one, there is a part of your brain that people call the RAS. That's sort of an acronym. Reticular activating system is what RAS stands for. And I call the RAS the bouncer of your brain because it's essentially a filter for what your brain is going to allow you to see or to focus on. So your RAS at all times has its list like the bouncer at a club, and it's looking at it okay, is this thing on the list? Oh, you're not on the list. Sorry, you can't get through. And so unless you put something deliberately on your list for your RAS to focus on, your brain is not going to see possibilities that it's true. And you have heard people, I'm sure, talk about like the yellow car theory, or I don't remember the exact name of it, but essentially, if you say, okay, I want to see a yellow car today, all of a sudden you're going to see a yellow car, even if you feel like you haven't seen one in months, right? That's your RAS at work. You have told it what to look for and what to focus on. You've put the yellow car on the bouncer's list. And because of that, your brain brings focus to it when you're out on the road. So now imagine your RAS has a list and it's programmed with things like opportunities to create more wealth, or opportunities to feel more confident, or I want to find my perfect match, or I want to have my dream body, or whatever you're trying to manifest. Imagine putting those things on the list for your bouncer. What starts to happen is your subconscious mind is looking for opportunities, looking for possibilities at all times that are going to align with that end goal. And when your RAS has that list, what happens is it can start working in tandem or in conjunction with your subconscious mind based off of what you believe. So for example, let's say you want to be a millionaire. We'll just continue this. You want to be a millionaire, but deep down in your subconscious mind, you think that making money is difficult and you think that being a millionaire is out of reach. Great. You have just communicated to your RAS, to your bouncer, we're going to look for the absolute hardest ways to make money. We are going to filter out any possibility of easy money making. We are going to filter out any possibilities of seven-figure earning. We can't do that because at the subconscious level, we truly don't believe that this is a possibility. So those two things have to be on board. Your RAS and your subconscious mind have to be on board with the thing that you are manifesting in order to make it happen. So much of the time, all we're doing is saying that we want something, and your brain actually does not give a fuck if you say you want something. It does not care. If you are just saying it with absolutely no real belief or real depth or real change at a subconscious level, it really doesn't matter how many times you say it, it will never happen. But the absolute best news is that your brain, and everyone's brain, is moldable as fuck. You can change your brain at any time. Everyone has the opportunity of neuroplasticity, which is basically just a fancy word for the ability to change the way that you think. And neuroplasticity is the key to actually shifting out of the reality that you have now and into the reality that you want. So the bridge between your inner bitch or your inner critic or the current version of you, whatever you want to call her, the bridge between that version of yourself that you no longer want to identify with and your highest self, that bridge is neuroplasticity. That's the thing that is going to allow you to turn from the old version of you into the best fucking life version of you. So what this means is you have the opportunity at any moment to shift your beliefs. You have the opportunity at any moment to change the things on the bouncer's list. You have the opportunity at any moment to shift your subconscious thinking. And the best part about that is with repetition, with those changes, with consistency in shifting your beliefs, you are going to manifest literally anything that you really, really want. However, like I said, wanting it simply is not enough. And if you feel like wanting it has gotten you nowhere or you've tried certain things and they haven't worked, here's some reasons why your manifestations might not be happening and ways that you might be self-sabotaging, probably unintentionally, all of your manifestations. Number one, that belief that we were talking about before is missing. If you don't actually believe that something is possible for you, there's absolutely no way it's going to happen because your subconscious mind simply will not allow it. And again, whatever you have told yourself subconsciously, and generally your subconscious beliefs are just based off of what you've heard enough times or what you feel like your brain has seen proof of. So if your subconscious mind does not believe that those things are possible for you, you cannot actually undo that as far as actions. You can't override your subconscious mind. What you can do is shift it, and that's what today's all about. But realistically, that belief has to be there in order to manifest anything. The second way you might be self-sabotaging, again, likely unintentionally, your manifestations is your nervous system might be just completely rejecting the thing that you are trying to manifest. The reason why this happens is because your brain likes safety. It likes comfort. So even if it's not what you actually desire, and even if it's not what's best for you, your brain is going to choose what is comfortable over what's different. And really, that kind of comes from a primal instinct where your brain is wired for survival. So whatever feels safe, whatever feels like your brain is going to protect you from a stray mountain lion, right? Back in the day when those were things we had to worry about, that's how your brain operates. That is what it gravitates toward. So when you start to shift that, when you are changing your subconscious mind, when you are changing your focus, it might not feel good. It might feel scary, and fear is something that your brain likes to avoid. So when you are in the process of manifesting something, your nervous system might start to be like, danger, danger, we can't do this. And if you allow that to run the show, you're not going to be able to manifest what you want. And then the last thing that I see very frequently when people are trying to manifest something and simply cannot make it work is that they don't actually have a strong enough emotional tie to the thing that they want to manifest. Feeling and emotion are extremely important when it comes to neuroplasticity and changing your brain. When you have an emotional attachment to something, the feeling that you have makes it so much more magnetic. Your manifestation becomes way more magnetized to you because you feel more connected to it, and that changes the way that your brain thinks about it. If you do not have an emotional connection and you don't actually feel fired the fuck up about the thing that you are manifesting, either A, it's going to take you way longer to see it come to life, or B, it's not going to come to life at all. And that is a really, really difficult thing because sometimes we try to lead with logic, right? We think like, okay, well, I need to make more money so I can buy groceries or buy this or buy that, but we don't actually feel any type of way about it, which is why it feels like it's not working, that our manifestation isn't working, when realistically it's that we just don't have an emotional connection to it like we need to in order for our brain to start rewiring to look for the opportunity to make that shit happen. And realistically, if you are not consistently doing these things, if you are not consistently emotionally attaching, consistently working on your belief, consistently overriding basically like the old software in your brain, that is absolutely not going to work. Like, there is no way that your brain can rewire without consistent practice. And what I want you to think about this like is almost like learning a language. And I am 99% sure that this process in your brain is identical to learning a language. The consistency and almost immersion in this new belief system, in this new identity that you're creating, in this manifestation that you are trying to bring to life, that is required if you want real progress. The mistake that I see a lot of people make is they kind of get on the wagon and then fall off. They get on, then they fall off. And they aren't really consistent with anything. So they feel like it's not working and they look back and they say, oh my God, I've been trying this shit for 6 months. But they haven't actually been doing the right things, those things that we're talking about today for subconscious rewiring. They haven't actually been doing them consistently. So like imagine trying to learn a language, but you only pick it up like once a week, or you're only looking at some vocabulary every now and then. Like that shit is not going to fucking work. And that is exactly the approach that a lot of people are taking when it comes to manifestation. So moral of the story, cut that shit out, stop being so intermittent with it, and commit 100% to this process if you want it to work. So, what does it actually mean to commit fully to this process? What does it actually look like on a daily basis? How are we actually consistently overriding the old bullshit in your brain so that you can turn into your highest self and therefore manifest the shit that you want? So, here's a list of daily practices that, from my belief and experience and backed by neuroscience, should be happening consistently if you want to rewire your brain for success. Number one, visualization. Your brain cannot tell the difference between what's real and what's fake. And the more you visualize, the stronger your emotional connection gets to the thing that you desire. And number two, the more your subconscious mind is trained to look for it, the more your RAS is going to be filtering out anything that doesn't match the reality that you are visualizing. You should be visualizing every single day. If you are trying to manifest anything in really any short period of time and you are not visualizing every single day, straight to jail, okay? Straight to jail. You should be utilizing visualization every single day. The second thing that should be happening every single day is some kind of journaling and scripting. And the reason why this operates differently is because writing physically, actually taking the time to write out with your hand, I don't mean typing, I mean with a pencil and paper or iPad, Apple Pencil, whatever you like, physically writing works differently in your subconscious mind. You are creating another connection and a physical connection to this goal. So what do I mean by journaling? This can look like scripting as your future self, and that's sort of like the written version of visualization. Or it can look like shadow work, where you are working through your limiting beliefs, you are kind of uncovering the bullshit that might be holding you back, and you're creating awareness around the habits or behaviors that your limiting beliefs have been fueling up until now. And that awareness will allow you to correct it and turn that into highest self behavior instead. And then finally, the third thing that should be happening absolutely every single day is some kind of somatic work to regulate your nervous system around this new identity. And the reason why is what we talked about before. Your brain is not going to feel safe with something different necessarily. And this work gets easier as time goes by. But if this is your first big thing that you're manifesting, or it's something that you have never worked toward before, or it's like a brand new upper limit for you, again, your brain is going to be like, this is dangerous. We don't like this. We're scared of this. And it is going to sabotage you unless you teach your body and your brain at the same time that this is safe. So what does this look like? This looks like EFT tapping. This looks like breath work. All of those things that connect the brain and the body to create that feeling of safety around the thing that you're manifesting. Even if it's a big fucking goal, you are telling your brain, we're good, okay? We're not getting chased by a mountain lion. We're not getting chased by a bear. We're just trying to manifest some money. It's not that big of a deal. And the last point that I really just want to drive home to you, because I think that this is something that is missing for most people, is your emotional attachment and the desire behind your manifestation is extremely underrated, and not enough people are talking about it. You can do all of the activities and all of the work that I have given you in this episode. You could take every manifestation course on the face of the planet. You could do everything, and still, if you do not have the rooted desire, the actual fired the fuck up feeling about the thing that you are manifesting, it is not going to work. And I'm not just saying that as someone who's like, you have to want it to go after it. Okay, yes, but the actual neuroscience behind that, firstly, is that the more you want it, the more emotionally attached you are to it, the more your subconscious mind will actually prioritize that thing. So if you don't actually care about it, your brain has about a million other things that it will put ahead of it then. Think about it. There are things that you simply do not care about, like the thing that you've been putting off in your house for however long, or that task. Usually for me, it's like going to the DMV for shit, things like that. I don't actually care about it that much. I'm not that excited about it. So my subconscious mind doesn't actually prioritize it. So I forget about it. That's exactly what's going to happen if you put your manifestation and your desire into the DMV folder in your mind. Don't do that shit. Keep it forefront of your mind. actual desire behind it, actual fire behind it, because the more you do that, the quicker your subconscious mind will actually start to rewire. And then a secondary note on that, I have a belief that so much of the time women suppress what they actually desire, or they downplay it because they either think that they can't have it, they think it's unrealistic, or they've been conditioned to play small. I am over that shit, okay? Not just for me, but for anyone listening to this and any other woman that crosses paths with me throughout the course of the rest of my life. You can want whatever you want. It's okay to want whatever it is you want. Here is your permission slip signed by me. You need to sign it too, so that you can actually be honest with yourself about what you want. So cut that shit out. Stop playing small with your desires. It's okay if you want something. It doesn't matter what it is. All you need is the emotional attachment to it and to actually feel fucking fired up about it in order to manifest it. So if you hear nothing else that I have said today, if you walk away with nothing else, please just know that your brain and your subconscious mind are the key to your manifestations. If you feel like it's not working, it's because your subconscious mind is not on board. And if that's the case, you need to get into my Rewire and Receive workshop that's coming up. I'm going to link it in the description box, in the show notes, all the things. You'll see it there. You're going to get a little bit more of the science during that workshop, but more than anything else, you're going to learn how to rewire your mind in real time, and you're going to walk away with exactly what you're going to do every single day in great detail in order to rewire your mind, in order to receive your manifestations. So check that out below. There are 2 ways to get in. There is a singular ticket that you can buy to the event, or you can join Healing House, my membership, and get complimentary access. So those are your 2 options. Highly recommend joining that if you feel like manifestation has not been working for you, or you just want to learn how to do it quicker and better. So I will see you in there. It is on March 3rd. And if you are listening to this or watching the YouTube video after this has passed, after March 3rd has passed, the replay is inside Healing House. So you can get access to that by joining Healing House either before the workshop begins or after. So if you were previously a skeptic of manifestation or you feel like it wasn't working, I hope that today's episode was helpful for you. There are going to be a lot more episodes like this. And again, the workshop that I am hosting will go a huge deep dive into this topic as well. So if this interests you, make sure you stick around, check out the show notes for some more info, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.